When you read a very loaded parsha with a lot of information and one that describes an incredible event, the revelation, Matan Torah, where our ancestors stood around the mountain and heard the voice of God, you wonder what exactly are we to take from it? Sometimes you would go to a historical site, a museum, or many of the popular attractions. They have like a gift shop. And it's exciting, especially for children, to look around and find something they could take with them that reminds them of the event. So if they visited, for example, a turtle museum, they're going to look for something that has a turtle on it, maybe a mug. So for the next few weeks, months, and years, they could look at that mug and remember the experience, right? Remember the fun they had. So the Torah obviously wants us to take something from this week's portion that describes the revelation. So if you look at the last verses of Parashat Yitro, you'll notice something interesting. That one of the last statements that God tells the people of Israel is that you have to be careful that when one day you're going to construct a Bet HaMikdash, a temple, and there's going to be an altar there, and it's going to be made of stones, be sure not to use iron utensils to go ahead and shape those stones. That's what we are told. And Rashi shares with us a tradition that, iron is a tool of war. The stones of the Mizbeach are stones that bring peace, because when we have the altar, we could connect to God. It is one that brings peace to the world. Be sensitive to peace, to the stones of peace, and don't bring the tool of destruction, the cherev, the iron that makes those weapons, into the realm of peace. Be sensitive to the peacemakers. And Rashi ends off this statement by telling us that, listen, if the Mizbeach, which is after all a stone, she'inam ro'ot velo shamot velo medabrot, they don't have really senses. Stones don't get insulted. But nevertheless, we are told, be sensitive to the peacemakers because they're doing good. How much more so when you have a person who is matil shalom, that brings peace between husband and wife, between families, between people. How much more so are they going to be blessed? In other words, if our tradition wants us to know that we have sensitivity towards the peacemakers, that we value them, that we view them as crucial to our existence, and thus no iron tools on the altar of peace, how much more so are we to walk away with an understanding that the greatest players in the arena of life are the ones that bring peace among people. A very important statement of what we Jews take away from Revelation, right? We are a religion that, yes, we recognize that there's a higher being and there's a purpose in creation, and we do Torah mitzvot to connect to that higher being, but we never forget the fact that we are humans, we interact with one another, and those that create a pleasant environment for those interactions, those are our true heroes. I remember it this week. Yesterday, we lost a very dear friend, Avi Citron, Olav Shalom, a person that we had really a privilege of interacting with in a very pleasant way, always with humor, right? Always brought happiness to others because he was a very happy person, right? I mentioned that his Levaya, that Avi was born on Tisha B'Av, and I had this feeling that he came into this world, he saw everyone that was sad due to the fact that it is the saddest day on the Jewish calendar, and he made a decision, you know what, I'm going to bring happiness to others. And he always brought happiness. He had a tremendous quality that unified people, and it is a person that we very much miss. And as we read a parsha that is so significant to our identity, the Torah wants us to walk away with an understanding. Remember, don't allow the spirituality, don't allow that desire to connect to God to minimize the significance of connecting to people, and realize how the peacemakers and those that create pleasant environment are important. That's what we are to learn. So let's be inspired by very special people who live their life that way, and let's keep up that work of creating a pleasant environment. And when we are echad, we merit also a connection with the echad above, with the Almighty, and He should hear our prayers. We should merit better times. It should be a good day. Bye-bye.